Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So for today's video I'm going to be using the Planners Anonymous Into the Wild kit to make this 3-level see-through shaker card. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, I have an idea. Okay, so once I've got that in place, I'm grabbing my ruler. I'm actually going to just hold this down with some tape. I'm just grabbing a pencil and I'm just doing this on the top and the bottom just so I can see where I need to cut. And same thing on this side. And then you know me, when I cut this I'm going to leave myself a bit of room so that I don't undercut. So we'll take all of this stuff. So making sure that they line up flush on the bottom, which they do. I'm going to give myself a little bit of extra room on both sides and I'm just going to cut. Alright, now that's come undone because I didn't glue in the middle, which is fine. I'm going to take these ones apart now. So I'm just gently pulling these back apart. Could have used washi tape just to tack them together. I just find with washi tape it moves too much and then I get not the result I wanted, so I find this works better and it doesn't damage the paper or the vellum or anything. It doesn't leave any marks. It comes straight off. You just have to be gentle when you pull them apart and obviously get it up and off as quickly as you can, because the longer you leave it the more it could damage it. I can do the same thing now with the bottom and the top. Now no, I can hear some of you yelling, why don't you just use the die cut or the die to cut it? And it's just because I don't need the stitching, and I always fear running vellum and paper through together. I don't know why. I always find I get horrible results, and the stitching isn't required, so therefore it doesn't matter how I do this. It'll work fine. So cut these ones off too. I am going to do a little bit of cutting in a minute with the die, but not yet. And I'm leaving, same as before, leaving a little bit of extra space there so that I've got that extra. So that'll be the window, and then that'll sit through onto this on the inside. And I'll work out if I'm going to put a background or something on it. I should have done that. Anyway, I was just thinking I should have had that as the whole thing. But I could actually do that just by lining it all back up again. We'll see how we go. Alright, so I'm going to cut that window in the front, because that way I can keep working on this. So I'm going to cut that window in the front. I'm going to use the die for this because it's a lot easier. But I'm then also going to cut a panel the same size as my front panel using the same die, the bigger version of this die. These are the Uniquely Creative ones. I'm going to cut that from this plaid. I just think it's stunning. You guys knew I was coming straight for the plaid, so I had to do it. So I'm going to cut a stitched rectangle out of the plaid because that'll be what goes on the front. Alright, so I have a little window that's cut out here. And I'm just holding on to this because I will still need it. And then this is going to be what goes on the front. I'm very proud of that cut. You can see from how much is left how close I got it all around the edges. I'm just going to give this a quick hit with my sanding tool. That's just to knock off any of the not so great edges. It did cut very close, so okay. So So that's going to sit there on the front, and all I need to do now is just cut that window out of this one as well. So I always find the easiest way to do that is to pop this in here, line it up, and then pop the die in the window here, and then you just stick it down just to the blue paper, or the paper underneath, because it should then, I can do this, I hope. It'll be very close. If it's not 100% perfect, it'll be very close, and I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this, and I'll be right back. And because we're going to cover that front bit up too with some the shaker, we don't need it to be 100% perfectly lined up. Oh, that's very well done. I'm very impressed with that. I've done good. So that's going to be the front of the card, and then you'll have the vellum sitting in the window behind it, and then on the inside you'll have this. I'm just trying to decide if I'm going to do it as a lift up and put everything back so that I can then have the white space underneath. I think I'm leaning towards that. Alright, so let's just start putting this together to start with. So I'm going to stick this down first. I'm doing it on the outside here because this is all going to get covered up anyway, so it gives me the ability to hide what I'm doing. So I'm going to grab, where'd I put it? Just a bit of sticker paper just to protect this while I stick it down. You obviously don't have to use glue tape. You can use liquid glue or double-sided tape. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to stick that straight down too. The shaker element's going to be like 3D, so it's going to sit up. So there'll be another frame that goes on that one. So that's why I'm sticking this all straight down. It's just a different kind of shaker because we're using all these different levels. I'm just going to pull this up gently, very, very gently. It's just not sitting nicely at the top. I put it down too far. So I'm just pulling it up so that I can put it in the right spot so that there's no white showing when I close the card, because that's the problem at the moment. Problem with doing it now is that A, it's curled, and B, it's sticky. The card's actually sticky as well, so it's just a bit more difficult, but it's not impossible. That's better. Okay, so that's the outside, and then where's my, there it is. So when you open it up, this is where I'm thinking I might do an inlay, or I'm actually going to line these up for a sec where I want them. Like a piece of white paper in here that sort of sits as that insert, and then I'll put this all back together so that when you open it you get that whole wide seam, and then you have somewhere to write. So I'm gonna fold this, give it a lip. So I'm just grabbing my scoreboard. Doesn't need to be any particular size lips, just a lip. Guys will be happy to know too that I've bought myself a scoreboard that's got centimetres on it, because I keep getting very frustrated with the fact that I have to move between inches and centimetres, and I know it won't solve the problem, but it will help. So now when you open it, you'll get that. You'll open it to this, which will have this bit stuck on it, and then you open it again, and that's where I'll have this, and I'll put some washi tape on here so it looks pretty. So then to stick this down, I'm going to go all around the outside. I'm going to take that bit of tape off, just this one, the other one can stay. And then when I close this, that will stick. And all I need to do is just take this bit of washi off. So I'm just pulling gently. And you'll be surprised at how easy this actually comes up. There we go. Alright, and then as I said before, I feel like I want to put the seam back together. I really should have planned that a bit better. I didn't do it well, but that's okay. Told you I wasn't quite sure what I was doing. I had a rough idea. Just having a thought and just thinking, no, I don't actually want to do that. But what do I want to do? Because I don't want it to just sit like that. Like, I love the way that looks. That looks fabulous to me. That 3D-ness of it is great. But then I feel like when you open it, it's just too plain. So what if I did that instead and had it on the blue? No, I'm going to do it this way because I feel like it will look great if I do it. It's just going to take a little bit. So use that washi tape again, grabbing a ruler and a pencil, and then just light pencil marks where I want to cut. And I'll do the same thing I did just before. I'll make sure I leave just a little extra bit, because it's always easy to cut more off than it is to add it back in, as I should have thought in the beginning. Alright, if you stare at it super quadruple close, you can see where that is, like where those cut lines are, but I feel like you can't really tell. It picks up the light occasionally, but you can't really tell. And just to finish the inside a little bit, I just want to pop in just a little bit of washi tape. So this is the owl tape that came with the kit. And I just want to line it up on the bottom here. So it sort of sits just above that paper. What it's going to do is it's going to do two things. It's going to hide the stick line, especially considering I pulled it up. It wasn't sticking particularly well. But then it's also just going to give the bit of pop on the inside. And I like that you can see it from the outside here. I think that actually gives a bit of an idea that something's still coming. All right. The shaker now kind of feels a little bit superfluous, but I want to do it anyway because I really, 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 really think the snow here would just make a beautiful shaker. So I'm going to pop that on the top. First thing I'm going to do is just cut a little bit of acetate that's just a little bit bigger than that square or that rectangle. If I can find where I put that die. You know, one of these days I'm actually going to get good at not making a mess while I'm crafting, but it's not today. I also love that I now have that gorgeous bit of plaid. So I'm not going to trim this or not going to measure it or anything. I'm just going to pop this in. The only thing I am going to do is just make sure I'm happy with the corner. No. So I want to try and stay near the edge if I can. And if I can, I'll make it so there's not that bit there. There it is. I don't want the whole, like the whole snowflake right in the middle. I want it to be just on the edge. I don't like that bit because it's sitting. I think it has to be. This is what I love about acetate, especially when it's double-sided and they both look good both sides. I think it's got to be there. Okay, so that's the corner. So I'm just popping that in there, making sure it's bigger than my little frame here. Oh, cutting acetate makes me nervous. Always has, always will. Go. Okay. And then I want that to be, that's the inside one. I'm just grabbing the next size up in my frames. And there's a really pretty, I think, if I remember it correctly, like really, yeah, dark blue. So I'm going to cut this double from that, and that'll give me the frame around the outside that'll hide the acetate. And I want it to be, I did originally want it the other way, but we're going to go this way. What's on that side? Oh, it's snowflakes, that's okay. So when I'm cutting frames like this, I always find it easier to line up the first one, get that in the right spot, at least that first bit, then bring in the second one, and then make sure they're in the right spots together, because you want these to sit right, and then stick them down so that they're both stuck separately and together. Use that little leftover bit of owl. Alright, the cool thing is this is going to give me stitching in this as well. There it is. Oh, I just love when you do that and it's just exactly how you dreamed it would be. Alright, so I'm going to put some tape. I'm going to use double-sided tape for this, like on a roll, because I've got really skinny stuff. I'm going to put that down all around the outside, stick the acetate on, and then we're going to start working out how to turn this into the shaker. so pretty. Alright, frame done. That's the easy part. Coming in with some of these. So this is where I love stuff like this. These are the Uniquely Creative squares and strips. I love the strips. You can now get the strips completely on their own, which, you know, I'm going to buy about 50 million of. So I'm popping that down. I love the Uniquely Creative because it actually gives you some height. Some of the really skinny foam tape I've got doesn't give enough height. It's very, like, it's skinny in thickness as well as width, which is frustrating. It's great, but it's frustrating. So I'm just going to pop this all around the edges. I obviously need to make sure two things. Number one, that I can't see it from the outside, so I'm trying to make sure that I can't. And then obviously that it does completely cover, like as in join up, so nothing can possibly get out. I'm also trying to make sure that if I've got any dog hair, which, you know, in this craft room is impossible not to have dog hair, that it's not going to get stuck underneath. Okay. That's fine. That's just the paper. I have a feeling this is actually the exact right size. Pretty close. I cut this just the right width too. I'm very happy. Alright, so here I have this little bit here that's not quite long enough to cover, so I just have to use a little bit of the end just so that I make sure I've got the whole well what's the word I'm looking for? The whole well needs to be leak proof. It's not the right word, but that's what it needs to be. This is the worst bit because I need to make it be that leak proof again, but I've got to get my scissors in the right spot. There we go. It's pretty close. Alright, so it's going to be the shaker, and it's going to go on that side so that I get the tree. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to stick this down. I want that bit of tape. I'm going to stick this down to my desk so that this doesn't lift up. And then for the glitter, or the bits in the middle, I'm going to do a couple. So again, I need that to sit really flat so that none of it rolls away while I'm putting everything on here. And get my little spoon. So I've got some bubble beads, which are from Uniquely Creative. I want to put some chunky glitter from Lawn Fawn because that'll give it a really cool kind of sparkle. And then I've got these. These are from Planners Anonymous back in the days when we used to do glitters. Or sequins, or whatever we want to call them. Where did I put it? I lost my little tray. This is the Wild and Free collection. So it's very wintry, but I'm looking for mainly these little ones in the middle. So I love the white and I love the silver. And then I'm just going to add a couple of these little star ones that kind of look like snowflakes, and then a couple of the ones that actually are snowflakes. Because I don't want them to be too covered. I want it to be able to move around and able to be a bit free. So put those in first. And I'm making sure that they stay in the middle. And then we're bringing in the chunky glitter, which always does that. So this is a bit iridescent, but it's also, it will stick a little bit to the acetate, but that's okay. That's that one. And then the bubble beads, because they are beads, will get in between all of this and kind of allow them to wobble. But all I want to do just want to get the smaller ones. I am absolutely incapable of using bubble beads without them going everywhere. I just can't do it. So it is what it is. So I'm just pushing all of those into the middle, making sure that's where my pile is. The rest of them are fine. And just sticking a little bit of powder on the inside here, just so that I get rid of as much of the sticky as I can. It very rarely works the way I want it to. It always still gets stuck, but doing it anyway. And then I'm going to pull off the bottom edge, because that's sort of where it was all tacked together anyway. This one and this one I'm going to pull like that. And the top I'm going to pull all the way off, but the edges aren't. That's so I can pull them off once I've got everything in the right spot. It's already doing it. So I'm just lining that up as best I can. Doesn't have to be exactly lined up, just as close as we can do it. Then I can pull that bit off. I can pull the rest of that bit up. Now it is a bit lumpy in the middle, but when I shake it in just a second, it'll even itself out. So there is a little bit of static on it. The more you shake it, the less it statics. Alright, here goes the test. The chunky glitter may have been a mistake. Only because it's kind of blocking. I'm going with it now, it's done. So it is shaking, and the static does go away after a while. Alright, so that's my card. The only thing I need still is a sentiment. And I'm just trying to work out what I want to put on the sentiment, because it's the only thing that I miss about PA kits these days is that we don't get the sentiments like we used to, which I kind of miss. I love that being beautiful being different is a beautiful thing quote there. So we're going to have, just so you can sort of see the whole card in action. You've got the shake on the outside. I should have just left that empty, but anyway. And then you open it up, and then you've got that second lot, and then you open that, and you've got the third. I think actually, if I was going to do this again, I wouldn't put the chunky glitter, because it's hiding how pretty that kind of other bit is. You kind of have to look past it, which I think is a bit annoying. But I love everything else about this. I need a sentiment. Come on. I got distracted then, sorry. No, okay. So part of me wants to leave it without a sentiment so that I can just make it into whatever I like. The other part of me wants to do something. So I'm going to it's just going to take me a second. I'm going to do it with some foil. So I'm going to get the Lawn Fawn Big Scripty Words sentiment. So this one here. And I'm going to use the Happy. And that's going to then cut. I'm going to put that here with some silver foil and then cut that out. But that way it'll sit really prettily right there. And then I can put like a little banner with birthday on the bottom. So I'm going to foil this. I'm going to do that super fast. I'm going to do it and come back. So I'll be right back and we'll have our sentiment ready to go. Alright, sentiment cut and foiled, or foiled and cut in this particular instance. I love that. It just looks so pretty. So we've got the happy that'll sit there. I put it on a couple of levels of cardstock so that it would sit up. And then the birthday, I think I'll just do as a bit small. Just put that, and I think it needs to be in the middle. Just there like that, and then there like that, and that'll be the card. So, need a bit of glue tape on here. Shouldn't have done it glue tape. Anyway, it's done now. Oh, this will be fine. So you've got that in the middle. And this one I'll do with liquid because it's going to go over the acetate. And I'm just doing just the word. I'm not doing the tails because that'll sit off anyway. There we go. Just a little bit of the tail maybe. And then all I'm going to do once this video is done is just leave something sitting on there for a little while. Just so that it adheres properly. But there you have it. There's my I'm going to call it a 3-layer window shaker card. Seems like a bit much. Probably is a little bit much, but I do love it. I love the way it's come up. I do wish I hadn't put the chunky glitter. But other than that, I think it's fine. Probably could have just left it without even the window. If you wanted to, you could just do the 2 layers. But I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I think whoever gets this card's going to love it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it that big old thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. There's lots of other Planners Anonymous videos here on my channel, so make sure you check the playlist out at the end if you're interested. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles. Bye!